5 games with the injury, the quad, keeping Caitlin Clark on the sidelines. But Trevor, she was back today for...
Caitlin Clark is offered her own squad by Larry Bird. Caitlin Clark sat at that stage following Marina Mabrey's fight, still high from a match that had the audience rocking and pundits at a loss for words. She answered the standard questions with ease, explaining her strategy, complimenting her teammates, and taking responsibility for her outstanding performance. However, just when it seemed like the session was over, a reporter made a remark so outrageous that it immediately destroyed the atmosphere. There was no question at all. It was an absolute stunner. The entire space froze. Clark's expression conveyed all. Shock, incredulity, possibly even rage. What was stated? Why did it shut her down in that manner? We are discussing Caitlin Clark. Not just another rookie, but a force that is completely changing the landscape of women's basketball. She has made the game a must-watch on television with abilities that cut defenders like butter, a fearless edge, and pure star power. Fans have been supporting her more than ever, from her days dominating college basketball in Iowa to the intense competition on Indiana's courts. Record-breaking ratings, crowded venues, and Clark's face everywhere. The hype is unavoidable. She has raised the degree of enthusiasm and interest in the sport to an entirely new level. Here's the crazy twist, though. The WNBA hasn't exactly laid out the red carpet in spite of everything she's done for the sport. She is receiving harsh criticism, cold shoulders, and overly intimate treatment in place of affection. Rather than being accepted, Caitlin Clark has encountered opposition from all sides. She is dismissed by seasoned players who refuse to acknowledge her extraordinary talent and simply ignore her as if she doesn't belong. Additionally, the referees.
Sure will be a big first step for me, but it's just one step for the WNBA, thanks to all the great players like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper, the great Dawn Staley, and my back.
They act as though she is open to cheap shots and allow defenders to mistreat her with fouls that would be called on anyone else. The leadership of the league is completely silent, which is much worse. Nothing, no backup, no protection. They seem to prefer to turn a blind eye rather than support one of their greatest performers to date. But Clark continues to shine despite all of this upheaval. She is playing with the composure and concentration of a veteran well beyond her years, and she is dominating the league in stats with an incredible degree of poise. Her game speaks for itself, and it speaks louder than any criticism directed against her. And now, unlike anyone else, one strong voice has intervened. The legendary Indiana player and NBA Hall of Famer Larry Bird understands exactly what it's like to enter a challenging league, carry a team on your shoulders, and deal with hatred from all sides. Bird recognizes Clark's struggles as his own. He's not merely observing, he's fully committed. He is criticizing players such as Marina Mabrey for their foul play and cheap shots. Now he is explicitly criticizing the WNBA leadership, accusing them of being more concerned with gatekeeping and upholding established hierarchies than developing new talent and advancing the sport. Caitlin Clark is more than just a rookie to Larry Bird. She is a living example of a revolution. She is the embodiment of transformation, the catalyst for advancement, and evidence that true greatness is invariably accompanied by the most difficult struggles. The entire world is watching her every move as she dominates on the court and inspires off of it. Bird is also prepared to ride for all that she stands for. The dark side of the WNBA has been exposed by Larry Bird's fierce defense of Caitlin Clark, demonstrating that legends don't just play the game, they alter it forever. And now he's planning something more ambitious than anyone anticipated. The entire future of basketball was appended by a new basketball empire centered on Clark.
This is wild. WNBA All-Star Weekend. It's supposed to be the star of all stars. All the big dogs is out. Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, everybody's out. The big dogs are out. You got the rookie, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here. And look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing. Uh-oh, spaghetti.
Larry is not merely irritated by this. He is prepared to fight. While league officials pretend to be blind, he has been witnessing every cheap shot, shove, and elbow directed against Clark. And that's more than just missed calls to him. It is a case of professional carelessness. Direct disrespect. Bird does not want meetings or watered-down assurances. We will investigate. He wants to take action, and he wants it right now. His vision is enormous, according to sources. A new league where talent, vision, and unadulterated tenacity dominate, or a formidable team centered around Caitlin. Without the ego, politics, and jealousy that continue to impede women's basketball. To be honest, it's difficult to disagree with him. TV ratings soar whenever Caitlin Clark takes the court. They tank hard when she's not around. She is more than just a high scorer. She is the most valuable player alive, the face of women's basketball, its biggest star, and its lifeblood. However, Larry Bird perceives something more profound. He envisions basketball's own future, not only the game for women. Bird is prepared to take over and do it himself if the WNBA is unable to defend her and propel her into the international spotlight where she belongs. Soft words of comfort are not the point here. He's going all out. He's uncovering dubious league practices, criticizing referees, and making the injustice public. He is analyzing game tape, dissecting dirty plays, and bringing up issues that the league can no longer ignore. However, Bird is not done yet. According to sources, he is discreetly setting the stage for a revolution. Something that has the potential to completely upend the basketball world. Bird views Caitlin Clark as more than just a player to watch from the sidelines. She is a movement, a franchise, and a brand, and he is prepared to take over, not just as a fan, but as a strategist, coach, and leader prepared to create an empire for her from the bottom up. With Clark at its core, Bird is prepared to seize the clipboard, tie the knot, and establish a dynasty.
Story we have been following throughout the past 2 days surrounds the superstar herself, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA star, the Indiana Fever star, Caitlin Clark. She's going to miss all the action on the court.
Caitlin Clark does more than just score points. She is redefining the game's future. Additionally, Larry Bird is not allowing anything or anyone to stand in her way. His dissatisfaction has evolved into a daring plan to revolutionize basketball both on and off the field. However, the WNBA may lose the star who is keeping them afloat if they continue to overlook Clark's ascent and allow its poisonous culture to spread. This is a wake-up call for them. The league runs the risk of losing the one thing that attracts new fans, sells out venues, and breaks TV records if they don't move quickly. Clark, Caitlin. She is more than a mere participant. She attracts enormous crowds and a new younger audience that had little interest in women's hoops prior to her arrival. She is a force of nature and a movement in herself. Every arena is illuminated by Clark, who makes even casual fans pay attention. However, the league's allowed a poisonous environment to flourish rather than shielding their brightest star and riding that wave. Physical cheap shots are accepted as a normal aspect of the game. Clark and other players are not respected. They are hated and singled out. The leadership, who ought to support her, are utterly silent, which is the worst part. There ought to have been prompt action and a clear message from the top following that startling moment when Marina Mabrey surprised Clark by blowing the whistle. Rather, crickets. It's hazardous, yet that quiet says it all. Larry Bird won't put up with it. In his day, you had to own up to your mistakes and keep going. You didn't cry out for help on social media. However, fans are whispering something crazy right now as the WNBA mishandles the opportunity to truly safeguard and honor its brightest talent. Will Caitlin Clark remain? Or is she going to use her talent somewhere else? Perhaps in Europe, where players are frequently given better treatment. Or perhaps, just possibly, to a brand new league that Larry Bird would establish. Because this is the harsh reality. Millions of fans will follow Caitlin Clark if she departs.
We shall never know peace, at least when it comes to the WNBA space. It was this ad that Angel put out. And I don't know if this is part of a larger campaign where it's going to be similar themes in similar places, but because of where the WNBA All-Star Game is, and because of who plays on the Indiana Fever in the home city of the WNBA All-Star Game, it's going to raise some eyebrows.
On her own, she has completely altered the game. And no one will be surprised if Larry is standing by the court, clipboard in hand, prepared to guide her into this next phase. Larry Bird isn't simply watching the WNBA stagnate right now, he's planning. Additionally, they risk losing both Caitlin Clark and the future of women's basketball in a single devastating blow if they don't act quickly. Larry Bird's admonition grows stronger when the WNBA makes mistakes. Ignoring Caitlin Clark puts the league's future at jeopardy. Bird's vision may lead her and millions of fans down a very different path if they continue to fail to safeguard her. But hold on, just who is Larry Bird? Let's dissect the unrelenting legend himself. In addition to being exceptionally talented, Larry Bird was a clear game changer. The man who represented the Boston Celtics in the 1980s. He changed basketball, not just played it. Bird's extraordinary ability to turn losing teams into championship teams helped restore the Celtics' glory and increase basketball's appeal across the globe. During his 13-year career, Bird won 3 NBA Valuable Player Awards, led the Celtics to 10 Atlantic Division victories, and won 3 NBA titles. He was well known for his lethal shooting and absurd basketball IQ. Larry Joe Bird was born in West Bowden Springs, Indiana, on December 7, 1956. His working-class family struggled to raise 6 children. It was not an easy life. The strain finally led to his parents' divorce. However, Bird stands out for his unwavering drive and love of basketball. Although he wasn't the most naturally talented athlete, he had an unwavering work ethic that kept him at the gym when everyone else was relaxing. In Indiana, where basketball is a religion, Bird had already become a local legend by high school. And Bird made a promise following the Celtics' devastating 1983 playoff loss. He would put in more effort, shoot for longer, and make sure it didn't happen again. That pledge paid out handsomely. He led the Celtics to the 1984 NBA Finals for a historic matchup with Magic Johnson, his collegiate adversary, just a year later. The Celtics defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in a thrilling 7-game battle to recapture their championship. Additionally, Larry Bird didn't leave the game when he eventually hung up his jersey. He continued to shape basketball from the inside after switching to the front office. Bird faced an entirely new dilemma by 1997. The Indiana Pacers head coach. Straight results without any warm-up time or coaching experience. He stunned the league in his rookie campaign by leading the Pacers to a franchise-best 58-24 record, trailing only the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. In May 1998, Bird became the 4th rookie coach to win NBA Coach of the Year thanks to the incredible comeback. Few people will ever be able to match Bird's famous achievement of winning Rookie of the Year as a player and Coach of the Year as a coach. The impact of Larry Bird extended far beyond his playing career. He was more than a baller. He was a leader, a builder, and a living example of unwavering diligence and unadulterated devotion. His influence on basketball is enduring. Meet the female version today, rising above the cacophony. Clark, Caitlin. She does more than simply play hoops. She is changing it, exceeding expectations, and redefining what it means to be a true star. Rookies in today's sports world are expected to wait their turn, remain modest, and quietly work their way up the ladder. However, Caitlin Clark is acting in the opposite way. Unflappable, fearless, and transforming women's basketball culture one game at a time. However, Caitlin Clark is dramatically changing the course of events. She takes control of the spotlight as soon as she sets foot on that court, embracing the pressure rather than avoiding it. She has put every game to the test, so don't make a mistake. She has been shoved, elbowed, fouled like it's open season, and jeered by spectators as if she were the antagonist in someone else's tale.